just because you can doesn't mean you should. You need to stop before going to that next step to ask yourself, does the world need this? My name is Khareghani, and until very recently, I was the head of the UK government's Office for AI. When we think about safe and responsible AI, we have to think about that as end-to-end. So it is about the ethics that go into it. It is about designing for responsibility from the outset. The UK has always had a pioneering role in responsible and safe AI. There are three bodies that play a massive role. One is the academic institutions, the second is government and policy, and the third is industry. So if we start with the academic institutions, responsible AI has always been core to the work that our researchers do, whether it be here at King's or any of the other research institutions. So the government needs to really be owning and leading on policy making around responsible AI to ensure that responsible AI becomes the only basket. So that includes funding in the ecosystem, which they're doing. It includes creating the right guardrails around AI in terms of regulation. And finally, we've got the role of industry. Industry is now leading the way when it comes to access and means to compute and access and means to data. They have a responsibility here to make sure that following responsible AI guidelines is embedded in the work that they do. So we talk a lot about the positives of AI in a utopic world, about it personalized medicine. But we also have to think about some of the hidden costs when it comes to AI and AI solutions, and that's the carbon footprint. So how much heat is being generated in order to train the algorithms? And this is a consideration that needs to be made when we're thinking about creating AI responsibly. The carbon footprint of some of the applications in AI need to be looked at before we espouse their positivity. AI is definitely creating a digital gap internationally. There's policy work that needs to be done, so governments within these countries need to position AI as an important part of their agenda, which means looking to other countries to see how they do that, making a strategy around AI and pushing those forward. There's an international obligation on this, so as countries leading some of the thinking, the policy work, and driving the academics behind some of these tools and technologies, we need to be much more inclusive of other countries that are up and coming. So not setting the bar so high, but in making sure that we have representatives from all the countries of the world joining in this conversation. There's also something that can be done at a much more grassroots level, which is right now we have massive data sets that are being fueled by only certain countries in certain parts of the world. But not only that, at a different scale, these data sets aren't even representative of the country we live in, right? Some of the communities that we live in that exist as part of countries that are leading the way in AI are not being represented by the same data sets. And so there is some grassroots work that can be done in getting communities to own the creation of the data sets and how those data sets are then used within AI. We've already had examples of bias problems in the past where you haven't had representative data sets, whether that is the tap in a bathroom not turning on under non-white hands, for example, or indeed male developers not solving solutions that are female specific. It's within the last year that we've had a crash test dummy that's been modeled on the female form, and women have been driving cars just as long as men. And these are problems that exist outside of AI, right? And so, and that's just gender that we're talking about there. And there's all sorts of diversity. I think the tragedy in it is that we miss out on the creativity that humans have with different life experiences when we have AI solutions and AI data sets that are being created by just a portion of the population. These are exciting tools. And computer scientists, engineers, all of us get excited by the challenges that we can meet by using these tools, right? But there are lots of things we need to consider. It's not just about getting to the solution, solving a really cool challenge that we haven't been able to solve before. We have to think about the questions and the consequences that may have. So that could be how else it could be used, right? Because it's a double-edged sword. It could be how much power is being used to create it, so some of the hidden costs of creating these solutions. And it could be, is this actually representative? So when I create this thing, have I thought about how a different part of the world that has a different data set and a different mindset, how would it land there? These are all things that you need to be considering. Not just, hey, here's a cool set of tools that I can use to solve a bunch of new problems with.